Hi, welcome to Edward Box Guitar Tuition. So my classic album inspection today is Rush's sophomore album from 1975, Fly By Night. It's 50 years old today, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So this is a key album in Rush's career. It's a key album, I think, in the development of hard rock and heavy metal as it moves, through the 70s and beyond. A lot of people will probably pick up on Rush at this time or start to. This is the first time with Neil Peart, so this is a big game changer. If you've heard the first Rush album, it's kind of Led Zeppelin-ish. It rocks hard. It's got Finding My Way, but principally Working Man is the key track. It's a decent hard rock record. You've got a different drummer on it, John Rusty, but it doesn't particularly stand out. In a way, it kind of stands in the sense that this is a tight band, they're a solid unit. When Peart comes in, it brings in the lyrics, the fantasy, and literary references to lyrics, and it just adds a layer, a different dimension to the music. The band have improved, and of course Peart improves them. They kind of tighten up and they become more robust. Famously, he was the fourth drummer they auditioned. I love playing him so much, they're embarrassed of the fifth drummer. He'd written out charts and had to go through the audition, I think. Or maybe he just got charts out and just said, look mate, we found our guy. It's a hell of a thing, isn't it? Neil Peart turns up and you look what happened. Look what Neil Peart went on to achieve. So this album's 37 minutes 38 seconds, so Rush prog band, but they've never done really. All our albums through this period generally are under 40 minutes. So this is also the first album produced by Terry Brown. I see Terry Brown principally as an engineer guy, collaborator, producer. I don't think he's not going to be like someone coming in and drastically changing arrangements and coming up with vocal harmonies and things like that. I think what he always did was captured Rush's playing, got the best take, and kept everything performance-wise good. And there's a density to the sound, but nothing that could not perform live. I think that's one of the key things. So let's get into the album. It opens with Anthem, which I think is quite a statement of intent. This is probably one of the heaviest tracks. It's pretty ferocious. It's got a great stop-start bit in this where it starts to remove one note each time, and it's Rush showing off their tightness and their new kind of telekinetic powers, I suppose. And it is incredibly tight, the gaps. It's got that thing as well. You notice of Alex again. It's that thing where he's not got a massive amount of distortion, but he's hitting hard, and it's just very, very clean, precise sound. And playing with Geddy, they get that heaviness. Again, Alex, the way he favours triads as well. Most people play power chords, whereas you'll hear Alex Lifeson's quite happy to hit an open D chord or a G, or play a full bar chord with distortion on it. It always made Rush stand out. That's why you must learn your regular chords if it's good enough for Alex Lifeson. Anyway, so all your music on this is generally Lee and Lifeson. So Anthem's great, 4:21. Then you've got Best I Can. So this is a decent second track. Again, this is more like the kind of things I'm on the first album. So this is a transition album. It's moving forward, but it's also harking back sometimes to that sound they had. Quite a funky groove on this. And then you've got Beneath, Between, Behind. I don't necessarily think these tracks are great, but they're decent. Then this is the track that I really loved as a kid on this album. I think I heard it on a Friday Rock show. We either recorded it, or maybe my brother had the Fly By Night album, so I just listened to it obsessively one day. And it's By Taught and the Snow Dog. I think they were kind of joking about something in the car, and when they were on a trip, and I think Neil Peart, what I was reading, he ended up constructing this whole story about the two dogs. Obviously on the album, I can't remember, but he's got it here, the Tobes of Hades across the sticks of the battle, challenged and defiant, 7-4 War Fuhrer, aftermath, hymn of triumph and epilogue. So again, it's that starting that thing where Rush are going to divide songs into themes, and there won't be gaps, but it's like doing that progressive thematic thing. It's 8 minutes 37 as well by On the Snow Dog. He's got that great it's got that really weird guitar solo, and that sound. Are great as well. I think Geddy's vocals are great on this. It's that thing as well. Neil's lyrics. He sings you know, he sings them so clearly, and he sings them with total conviction, and that's what makes it stand out. Is these kind of bizarre sort of phrases and words and things like that aren't typical that you'd hear in a hard rock. And that's what makes it so interesting, you know, on one of the parts. So that's a great finish to the album then. Side 2 opens with Fly By Night, just a really good rocker, lovely sort of clean chorus guitar on this from Alex, a lovely pick notes, again, just that clarity he gets. Geddy's bass filling it out. Says here, Geddy Lee wrote the music, so I think, you know, this time maybe they were splitting it, you know, not always writing together. Then you got Making Memories. This is an acoustic sort of, you know, D-chord type thing. You know, you imagine something like Wholehearted by Extreme, that type of riff. It's okay. I think it's probably the weakest track on the album. Again, the band's kind of finding their way. Next track is Rivendell. So obviously it's a reference to Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. This is where the Elvins live, is it? I've never read Lord of the Rings, but anyway. This is a beautiful track. It's very nice. I think for me it's a little too long. It's 4 minutes 52, but I think it could have been a minute shorter. But again, you know, we'd sort of laugh now if I wrote a song about, you know, Rivendell and fucking hobbits and stuff. But at this time, this was a very popular thing to do, was to take fantasy source material. Of course, Led Zeppelin did it with Ramble On, which mentions Gollum. So obviously, clearly the Led Zeppelin influence coming here to a certain extent, but Peter really delving into his book. I should say Anthem as well. I think that's an Ayn Rand. That's his first sort of dalliance with Ayn Rand, or writing with Ayn Rand, don't quote me. So it's a really nice soothing track, sort of track you could put on to sort of soothe you off to sleep. And then you got In the End. This is 6:44. This has got a kind of cool acoustic intro, and then it builds and it rocks out. You know, it is a good record. I wouldn't call it classic, but it's got some classic tracks. Anthem and Bite on the Snowdon and Fly By Night are really, really good tracks, and a lot of people love Rivendell. So it's an important building block, and bands or people who are getting into music buying this album at the time, you know, if you look at what's happening in hard rock, fledgling heavy metal and all that, this, when it rocks hard, it would fit well within that in your record collection. You know, you got to remember there's not as much heavy music out there back in the day, so I kind of imagine anything new, oh, let's check this out. It's kind of building, slowly building, and of course Rush will be a big influence on progressive metal and new wobbin bands, and Maiden, things like Shiva, stuff like that. Yeah, this is where Rush really start. They toured about 70 dates on this. Again, that were getting really tight. Then there was the kind of misstep, I suppose, with Caress of Steel, although it has its fans, and of course the 2112, and the rest is history. So 50 years old today, check it out. Remember to share and subscribe, and thank you. See you again.